Sarah grew up in a small town and had never been in the woods. She first got among the dense thickets because of the whim of her husband Mark. She did not know how to behave in the forest, so she was frightened by every sound. Mark invited her to take a walk along the forest paths and then deliberately left her there alone. At first she thought it was some kind of joke and her husband would come back for her, but it had been 2 hours and he still hadn't shown up. Is this really his gratitude for all those years when I have been taking care of him? Sarah thought with tears. They had lived with Mark for 5 calm and happy years. Sarah was a very gentle person. She did not like conflicts and constantly tried to smooth things over. When they met, she had already had her own company and a solid bank account. She had achieved all this by hard work. Mark was a womanizer and immediately realized what benefits his relationship with Sarah promised him. He tried to charm the woman and had eventually managed to do this. The young people got married, and the guy moved to his wife's beautiful house. Mark did not work and spent most of his time in front of the TV with a can of beer in his hand. And for all her love and kindness, Mark had left her alone in a dense forest. Besides, he did it at the very moment when Sarah had fallen ill and needed support and care. The fact was that 3 months ago she was diagnosed with cancer. Fortunately, the doctors said that if she started the treatment they offered, the chances of recovery would increase significantly. However, this therapy was quite expensive. When the woman told her husband about this, he did not support her much, saying that all doctors are deceivers and want to make money on her. However, Sarah decided to start the treatment. It was then that a cunning plan arose in the head of the man. He became very caring and began to support all the ideas of his wife. Therefore, Sarah did not suspect anything when he suggested to take a walk in the forest and get some fresh air. He drove her into the thicket, literally pushed her out of the car, hit the gas, and drove away. Sarah had been already wandering through the woods for several hours. She was very tired, hungry, and had no idea where she was. She sat down under a tree and fell asleep. Suddenly, a rough male voice woke her up. "Ma'am, how long are you going to stay here?" She opened her eyes and saw a tall man with a gun in a khaki suit and a dog next to him. He started gathering wood to make a fire. He put a pot on the fire, poured water in it, added dry mushrooms and a can of beans, and began to boil the stew. When Sarah ate the thick, delicious soup, her eyes closed again. Falling asleep, she felt the man take her in his arms and carry her somewhere. After that, she passed out. The woman woke up only after 12 hours. She found herself in a small, clean room. She tried to get up, but she had no strength. Suddenly, the door opened, and an old woman entered the room. "Honey, are you okay?" "That's good. I brought you one magical infusion," she said. "My name is Emily Barton." She gave Sarah a cup of some drink. The woman drank it gratefully. It turned out that Mrs. Barton helped terminally ill patients with alternative medicine methods. She lived alone in a house in the middle of the forest and helped everyone who came to her. "What's the name of the man who have found me in the woods?" Sarah asked the woman when they were walking a few days later. "It's Ted. He's a good man. He has lost his wife and daughter in a car accident. Now he lives like a hermit." Sarah had been living in Emily's house for 3 months. During this time, she had become very close with the old woman. Ted also often visited her. After some time, they had developed mutual feelings. Surprisingly, the treatment provided by Mrs. Barton had helped Sarah. It seemed that the disease had receded. Then she decided to return to the city with Ted to punish Mark. But it turned out that he had already been imprisoned. The fact was that he had found a woman who looked like Sarah to withdraw money from her bank account. However, bank employees had suspected fraud and called the police. The officers investigated the case and found out that Mark had also left his wife alone in the forest. However, they were never able to find the woman. Therefore, her return became a real sensation, as well as the fact that Sarah was cured of cancer. The happy woman divorced Mark, married Ted, sold her business, and opened an alternative medicine center where Emily Barton began to work.